New comic book haul for March 28th. It was a couple of days ago. I'm a little late on getting this one up here, but there was a lot of good stuff to read, so I was a little backlogged right now. Really, really good week with all the big events coming through. A lot of big titles this week, milestones. But what trumped all of that was Bieber Fever. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers took over like Beatlemania, took over like Beanie Babies and Tickle Me Elmos. I was just going to grab a copy of this blind bag with the 11 variants, and there's a death of a Power Ranger, all sorts of stuff was going on. Never read Power Rangers before, and I was just going to grab one just to do the blind bag. It seemed like fun. I was in the morning, and by the afternoon, I had gone to 4 different shops and called every other one and couldn't find it. It sold out at Diamond. I mean, you've got sealed copies selling on eBay for $25-$30 right now. And I am here without. My buddy got one, and that was the only one that we saw. And so, didn't get the one per store variant, but, either way, it was still pretty fun, and still keeping our eyes out for those right now. And I hate that I'm on a hunt for Power Rangers, but that's life right here, that's the life. But speaking of all the big stuff that was coming out, DC had a big week. One of the ones most notably is this guy, Doomsday Clock number 4. So you got Rorschach walking away from the explosions right now. It's more of a Rorschach-centric issue, which is really cool. I mean, he was definitely a fan favorite for everybody that read the original Watchmen, myself included. So this one is really cool. Pick this one up over the A cover. Rorschach is better than a plate of pancakes, in my opinion. I mean, that's just, I don't know, that's just me. It was funny, though, seeing this because the first 3 I was so excited about. Like, that was the reason why I woke up early and showed up at my shop on Wednesday morning. But this week I was like, oh yeah, totally forgot about Doomsday Clock. Cool, I'll read it. That's what 1 month, that's what one little hiatus, one little delay will do to it, So hopefully they get this thing back on track. If they're sticking with the every other month, then, if I get used to that, then great, But either way, it's still a fantastic read, so I'll certainly pick it up. It's what everyone is talking about, especially since this guy right here just finished up Dark Knight's Metal number 6, conclusion to Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's little bridge point in between old DC and new DC, I guess. They've got a couple of stories stemming out of this. The New Age of Heroes kind of begins with this. You've been reading Damage and Silencer, Terrifics, Sideways, stuff like that. Those are all stemming from this book right here. But besides that, the story has been awesome. Hardcover's coming out next month, I believe, if you haven't gotten a chance to read the whole story, plus all the one-shots and preludes and tie-ins and everything like that. This is the Jim Lee cover. Personal fan of Jim Lee's. All of his are always the pick for me. But besides that, there's 3 other ones. Tony S. Daniel did a really cool one. The standard issue from Greg Capullo, the standard cover with the Joker Dragon, it's really cool too. So you can't go wrong with any of those issues. They're not going to sell out, so they're not going to be overpriced or anything like that. I think just pick up the one that you like. Speaking of the New Age of Heroes and that Dark Knight's Metal universe that they're creating, my favorite title of those is the Terrifics. When they announced all the different pairings with the writers and artists, and this is the one I was most looking forward to. You've got Jeff Lemire, just awesome. You've got Ivan Rice, even better. And you got Plastic Man. That's a home run in my opinion. So certainly check this out. And thank you, DC, for only making one cover of these New Age of Heroes. Really great storylines, and I'm going to keep reading it, and I'm very glad I only have to buy 1 copy of it. Next up from that New Age of Heroes is Silencer. This is issue number 3. It's the end of that first arc. John Romita Jr. draws the best guns in comics, in my opinion. So him drawing an assassin is really, really cool. Next issue, she's going to be going up against Destro, so I'm really excited to see that. But yeah, it's been a really fun read. Lots of action. Kind of a typical story, assassin getting out of the game, they're pulling her back, but they do it really, really well. Also from DC, we've got Justice League of America. This is the Francesco Mattina cover. He's got a lot of fans out there, myself included. he does really, really fantastic cover art and variant art for it. Haven't been reading Justice League of America. Thumb through this one a little bit. They're taking on Kronos, who's kind of a cool character. Should be an interesting little read right here, but Francesca Mattina is the reason why I got this right here. Also from DC, we've got Detective Comics 977. You got to be reading Detective Comics, just like why you got to be reading Batman and Action Comics. They're standards. They're always going to be good. Always going to have great writers on it. Right now is James Tynion, like Tinyon. But he's been doing a great job with the whole Bat family. It's not just a Batman stories. They got a lot of really cool characters. He's been doing a good job with the whole group dynamic of it. But he's only got a few issues left. Not sure how many, but he's coming on close to the end of his run. And this is the A cover. I've got it on my pull list, and I forgot to even really look at which one I had, because there's also a Raphael Albuquerque's the B cover, and his are always really nice. Definitely a fan of Raphael Albuquerque. But out of the way, the story's really good, so certainly pick one of those guys up. And last up from DC is a story that I didn't really think I was going to get into, but based on a recommendation, I started picking it up. Raven, Daughter of Darkness is being written by Marv Wolfman again, who created her back in the day, and she's always been a fan favorite. Everybody loves the little emo girl that can ruin the world. So Raven, Daughter of Darkness has been pretty fun. It's a 12-issue series, and so I'll keep up with it, see where it goes. So that was it for DC. For Marvel, we've got milestone issue 600 of Daredevil. Right now it's being written by Charles Soule. It's the end of the Mayor Fisk line. Charles Soule's an attorney himself. Him writing Daredevil has been really, really good. Certainly match made in heaven. But it's a milestone issue, so you got to pick it up. There's a bunch of variants over it, of it. And Frank Miller, they did a couple of remasters. There's Sketch 1 and they're a little bit harder to find. So if you get one, certainly good luck to you, props, but I just want the standard one. There's a John Tyler Christopher trading card variant, which is pretty cool as well, but yeah, I just want the standard one. That's an issue that you've got to hold on to. Milestones, get used to it. There's going to be a lot of them this summer. Also from Marvel, we've got No Surrender, Avengers Weekly Series, and if you haven't been watching it, haven't been reading it, haven't been paying attention, you're definitely missing out. It's been an awesome storyline. They've introduced 3 different characters in it, and it was in like a 6 or a 5-issue span, something like that. A little unheard of for Marvel or DC to do, I think. But either way, it's been really good. Couple of covers for it. This is the standard, or the cover A, Rogue and Hulk trying to fight over a pyromoid, so really cool. The other one's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I don't know, I'm not a big show or a fan of the show, so definitely skipped out on that one. Just went with a regular one on that. That was actually it for Marvel for me this week. It was a bigger week for Marvel last week with Thor and Thanos and all sorts of other good stuff, and there's a reason why I got distracted for Marvel, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, that was it. I know that I still gotta go back and pick up Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider, if I can find that one. There's a really awesome Clayton Crane cover of that. Big fan of his, and so bummed I missed out on that one. A couple other things too. Iron Man came out as well. That was it for me for Marvel right now. Indies Go got a couple of titles. We've got from Zenoscope, we have Peekaboo. Horror genre seems to be picking up, ramping up a lot, which is really good. It's kind of nice to read something a little different than the normal superhero stuff that I tend to get into, And so this is kind of an 80s, slasher, Friday the 13th, kind of story, and a few covers. Looks really cool. Might as well check it out, see what the book is like. Also, from Image, we got another number 1. It's Top Cow's Cyberforce. Mark Silvestri is the creator of Cyberforce, so he's bringing it back up. It started out back in the 90s when he was one of the guys with Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld and so on, that started up Image, and with, Todd McFarlane obviously had Spawn, Jim Lee had Wildcats, Liefeld had his Extreme Verse and stuff. This was what Silvestri did, and so we'll see if it goes well. I mean, it's an Image #1 from an original Image title, and Cyberforce was actually the first thing that Image printed out too. From their very first run was Cyberforce back in '92 or whatever it was, and so. Yeah, might as well pick it up. Could be a good read. I didn't read the original one, so yeah, I can imagine. It's 90s Image. I'm pretty sure I could figure it out. Next up, from Valiant is Shadow Man. I personally love me some Valiant. They are always doing really cool variants. They have awesome writers, great artists, and even the books themselves just feel quality. Like, they're one of the best feeling books, I think, in my opinion, right now. But yeah, Shadow Man #1. This is his third reboot now. He's one of the original Valiant guys from back in the early 90s. This is the cover A. There's a couple other ones. One in particular, which is really cool, is the same image, but it's a brushed metal cover that glows in the dark. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I think it's a 1 in 500 variant though, something like that. So might be out of my reach at this point, but yeah, I would love to see that guy right there. But Shadow Man is great. Valiant is ramping up to their big summer event, the Harbinger Wars 2. So you're going to be seeing a lot of Valiant stuff, especially if you keep an eye on this channel, because yeah, like I said, I love Valiant. But yeah, I wish I could have gotten that glow in the dark one. I don't know if it's like a foil or what they do with it. I don't know. I don't make comics. I just like to read them and make them glow in the dark and stuff. And so, next up on the indie list, I was surprised to see this. I've never heard of Darby Pop, which is who put out Bruce Lee's Walk of the Dragon. Bruce Lee is an amnesiac, 40 years past when everyone thought that he died, but he's actually just hanging out in Southern California with some old friend from the 70s, and yeah, hilarity ensues while he walks around being Zen and Bruce Lee at the same time. It's pretty great. Yeah, didn't know anything about Darby Pop, but I was happy to find that. So I guess there's a whole entire other storyline that this was the prequel to. So yeah, get you in on some Bruce Lee. All right. So that was all the new comics that we ended up picking up this week. Like I said, I missed out on quite a few Marvel things in particular. Also, G.I. Joe, apparently, they're on issue 250. And they are supposedly going to introduce the new Snake Eyes, and so that was something that I missed out on, unfortunately. But yeah, I mentioned that I went a little skimpy on Marvel. Reason why is I was over at our LCS. Big shout out, by the way, to John over at Hall of Justice Comics. We're in Colorado here, and there's an awesome comic community, and we have a ton of shops. We have the world's largest comic book shop. I drive past all those guys to go to Hall of Justice. It's like 45 minutes away, but it's totally worth it. So while we were there, I was checking out all the Marvel stuff, and I looked up at his key issues up on the wall. And I came across this guy. Eternal Warrior #4. This is the first appearance of Bloodshot. And if you haven't heard anything about Bloodshot, Valiant just signed Vin Diesel to play him in the movie. It's going to be their first foray into the Valiant expanded cinema universe, or whatever it is that they want to call it, but it's one of the most popular characters. That's the first one they're doing a movie of, and so definitely glad I picked up this first appearance, and it's like $30 too, like, perfect. But I am a huge Valiant fan, as I mentioned, so get used to seeing a whole lot of their stuff around here. But yeah, sorry Marvel, I got a little distracted on that. That's why I ended up missing out on a whole bunch of stuff, but that's okay. And another fun part about this last Wednesday was in the hunt for the stupid Power Rangers. We ended up doing a little bit of long box hauling too, and came across some fun stuff. First up is DuckTales. This is issue #5. It is the Webby Vanderquack diagram cover. These DuckTales variants have been going for a lot of money. The last one that I saw was the Launchpad McQuack, which I believe was issue 7. That one's going for like $40-50. And so I found this in a dollar bin, and it's like $30 on eBay. So yeah, Webby Vanderquack has got a whole lot of fans out there. So hopefully one of them will call me up, right? So next up, we've got Ant-Man and the Wasp. Found this undercover price as well. This is a Marvel Studios tie-in, and so this is going to be directly related to what goes on in the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie, which is coming out later this summer, sometime after Avengers. Not sure exactly when. Normally I pass up these studio tie-in ones and things like that because, like, any of this movie studio stuff, it just seems more contrived, more merchandise than it is like an actual comic, you know. But hearing that that it is filling in gaps and it's directly related to and stuff like that, I picked it up. I mean, we could probably, you know, sell when the book or when the movie comes out a little bit later, and you know, also could fill out some gaps. I mean, Ant-Man was a really fun story, and I'm sure it's probably gonna be pretty fun for Ant-Man and the Wasp. And so, yeah, pick this guy up, and you know, we'll see where it goes. I'm keeping my eye out on a lot of these Marvel Studio products, you know. Avengers Infinity Preludes and Infinity Countdowns and stuff like that, because once the movies start coming out, those things are going to jump up in price. Now, next up, I found a couple of Mark Millar old school stuff. Not necessarily that old school, but this is Jupiter Circle. We've got Volumes 1 and Volume 2. It's the first issue on each. Mark Millar sold his Millarverse to Amazon, I believe. One of those. Someone paid him a lot of money for all the stuff that he's come up with, and so I'm snatching up any old Mark Millar stuff, especially one issues and things like that. There's also Jupiter's Legacy. I believe this is the prequel to Jupiter's Legacy. But yeah, we'll see if, you know, they decide that they want to make this into a movie. Then, yeah, awesome. Haven't read it yet, but I don't know. We'll see. Speaking of Mark Millar, after he announced that he had sold his soul to, you know, media, a couple of days later, Rob Liefeld did the exact same thing with his Extremeverse. And I was starting to think, like, all right, well, if that's the way that this is going to go, like, who else would be on that list as far as, you know, selling their mind, basically, to get a whole bunch of movies and TV shows and stuff like that going. And my bet is on Jeff Lemire. This is Black Hammer issue 2. They actually just came out with Dr. Star and the Kingdom of Lost Tomorrows, which is a prequel to this. And then they announced Quantum Age, which is set 1,000 years in the future of the Black Hammer universe. But honestly, if Netflix or one of those guys started to look for someone that's got that same type of, you know, IPs that they're doing, I mean, Jeff Lemire I think would be a great option right there. So certainly picking up any of his old school stuff. I mean, Sweet Tooth, X County. I mean, they can do a whole lot of good stuff. And so, anyways, on to the fun part of the day, the shits and giggle portion of our long box hunting. I found Green Lantern Beneath the Planet of the Apes. I love a good mashup, and this sounds like a pretty good one. I haven't read through it yet. I saw right here at the very bottom, it is starring Sinestro and Dr. Zaius. So I bought it. That's all it really took for me. I'm easy. I love mashups. By the way, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Batman issue number 2. It's written by James Tynion. It is one of my favorite series going on right now. So I love the crossovers. I love the mashups. I also love Hercules. U.S. Avengers. Hercules, the Avenger of Colorado. I didn't know that we had our own Avenger out here, and I'm really glad it's Hercules. I mean, who else would you want protecting your state, right? I don't know what he's protecting it from. Yeah, this is pretty awesome. And honestly, this needs to be our flag. Colorado, this needs to be our flag, okay? Pay attention. Hercules. Put that up on the pole and no one's going to mess with us. Anyways, thanks so much for tuning in. We're going to be back every single Wednesday. This is Thrift Store Batman. My name's Jason, and we'll catch you next time.